Just recently we were in Cape Town and we had the opportunity of reviewing and test riding the Moto Guzzi V7 3rd edition Racer, and we in the Route 21 collection have the 1st edition Racer. We have reviewed her in a previous episode, however we never got on and rode and reviewed her. So what I thought, having just ridden the 3rd edition, let's jump on her, review her and compare her to the 3rd edition and see how far technology has come in the past decade and how true the Moto Guzzi V7s have stayed to the original. Right, now just having a look at the visual differences between the two, this being the 1st edition V7 Racer. First thing you notice, and the most dominant change, would be 1st and 2nd have this shiny chrome petrol tank. The 3rd edition has that satin brush look to it. Also the tank strap on these are brown with the Moto Guzzi embossed. The 3rd edition has the black one. Also these have the suede seats in brown with the black on the side, red stitching. The 3rd edition has the black seat. Then going to the front, you will see this number board in front. The 3rd edition has the aluminium round like this. This has the board with a little clear perspex on top. Single headlight, little boots on the gate is all the same. However, another thing you'll notice is that this red on the bike is actually sort of a glitter metallic red look to it. So quite different. The 3rd edition has the Mandello Rosso, the bright red look to it. So those are the main visual differences. Also your hubs, you'll see front hub is red and your rear hub with your rear swing arm all in red. Now mechanically the differences also same transversely mounted motor, air and oil cooled 744cc, no big change there. However, this 1st edition put out 50 horsepower, now up to 52 I think horsepower. This was 58 newton meters, it's now 60 newton meters. Biggest difference would be this 1st edition has a 5-speed gearbox from the 2nd, and obviously the 3rd has 6-speed gearboxes, and this 1st edition has no ABS. If you look on the hubs in front, from the 2nd edition you have ABS, and then 3rd edition you have a few more traction things and rider aids. So this is really the start, the base execution, no ABS, 5-speed box, and very minimal difference on horsepower and torque. And if you compare the two, really true to the original shape, the 3rd edition, really nice. Depends what you like, that shiny tank to give you a sunburn on your chin, or else if you want that satin finish. I just really like the way they've done the chrome following through from the indicators to the rear view mirrors to the tank, exhaust, all the way to the lights at the back. So I must say I really like the shape. But let's see, because I was really impressed with the riding of the 3rd edition. So let's jump on board and quickly see how true to this original the 3rd edition is. Very familiar seating position. I think all V7s are very much the same. Your main difference would come on the handlebar positions, whether it's clip-ons, rake back, bar going right through, maybe on a special or something like that. Like the carbon has one bar going right through with like a, you can nearly call it handlebar risers, where the laser plaque is for the number edition. So you're sitting maybe a little bit more upright than I am with this one. With the clip-ons, you got more pressure on the palms of your hands. But other than that, very familiar with the V7 Racer 3rd edition we just recently tested. But I must say, first thing I noticed would be that this technology is a little bit on the older side, and that was evident when trying to grab a handful of brake. The brakes on the newer 3rd and 4th edition are definitely sharper. But it's always cool to get on something classical, a vintage bike where you have to change your riding style just a little bit to accommodate. The power is very smooth. I love these shaft drive air and oil cooled V-twins of Guzzi. This one is a few horsepower less, 50 horsepower, not gonna scare you, but just a cool poser bike. Very slim little bike, manageable, low seat. Very reminiscent of the third edition. Can definitely feel it's the same style of bike. They just carried the tradition and really upgraded it. Here we stuck with 5 gears. The new one has 6 gears. This 2012-2013 has no ABS. It's the first edition. The ABS was introduced with the second edition. Second edition looks very similar to this one. The quickest difference, main difference that I saw would be the side panels, where it says the model name V7 second edition. They're black on the second edition, and there are the matte brushed aluminium look on this first edition. Other than that, really cool. Also has a nice little power curve. Remember the third edition, we were actually running off the clock in Cape Town. We are now in Johannesburg at 1600 meters altitude, so definitely gonna have a little bit less power. But really fun little motorbikes. We are still on a lookout for a second edition V7 for our collection, as we have a first, a third and a fourth edition, this being our first edition. Here you feel when you grab a handful of brake it does stop, but definitely it's not a 2-finger braking of the modern brakes, or the V7 Racer has definitely stronger brakes. Also, what I noticed is finding neutral gets a little bit tricky on this bike at times, which definitely better on the newer ones as well. Here we go, this is open throttle, also exceeding speed limit in a hurry. 120 comes up very quickly, so no complaints. Enjoyable little piece. I think we're going to run up the road here. This dashboard actually reminds me very much of my Ducati Monster S4R that I had. It's pretty much the same. Also the way the lights are up here, very similar. I just like the displays. It actually at a quick glance looks like Roman numerals. It's not. Love the little eagle in the back, the black and white. Just looks superb. Yeah, we're going on an incline. Stunning. I'm just rolling it on, and plenty power. Running up this hill in top gear, not a problem at all. And I think the main thing about this V7 Racer first edition is just the absolutely exquisite looks. It is so bold. I don't think there's another bike on the market that looks anything like this. If you just have a look here, that chrome tank with this leather strap, the Moto Guzzi name embossed in on it, this dash here, just stunning. I love this little clear perspex, so reminiscent of the 60s little fly screen. It's not doing anything for wind or anything, it's just so cosmetic, but plays the part with this bike. If you look at this, the chrome mirrors going with a chrome tank, the chrome bezels, everything is just my cup of tea. Not for everyone, but on pure looks, I give this bike 10 out of 10. Here again on brakes, you'll feel you really have to grab a handful, but it does stop. Proper roll on here. You definitely pick up speed nicely. I am going to take it a little bit easier on this bike because since we've purchased her, we have not replaced the tires, so I would not know how old these tires are, and we definitely don't want to throw this down the road. Always important to remember when buying a second-hand motorcycle, have a look at the date on the tires, because the older they are, the harder they get, and doesn't matter how good a handling bike you have, if you have got rubbish tires, that's it, game over. Really a fun ride out here in the sunshine, good weather today. The seating position is not as aggressive as it looks, but cafe racer style, so you do feel it a little bit in the lower back and pressure on the palms of your hands. Nothing to cry about. Nice torquey motor, I can roll on in top gear and speed climbs. Absolutely no problem to keep the speed uphill or downhill. This is a bike that's a poser bike. It's really great for commuting. It's slim, it handles well. We did some lane splitting earlier and just it feels great. It's very little input from you. You do feel it in your lower back and the palms of your hands a little bit. There's a bit of pressure, so you're not going to do long distance cruising, but weekend warrior cruising around, posing a little bit, you definitely do get noticed on this bike, and I just love it. It's just so bold and out there. If you look at the sun and the sky reflecting off this petrol tank, it is something so unique. It's very, very special to me. As mentioned here, the handling, it tracks nicely. Just stunning little package all round, and second hand you can pick these bikes up at a really good deal, so value for money. I mean, solid built quality hand built bike, what you get for Italian art, Italian hand built. You look at the attention to detail on everything, even this petrol strap with the Moto Guzzi embossed on it, riveted, everything chrome. I really particularly like this clear screen on top. It just harks back to the old days when they had fly screens, those races. And if you tuck down the view from here, you're just tucked in. Not very effective fly screen, but it's all about fun. Let's do a little roll on here and see how quickly she accelerates. Okay, all the way open. That's about it on this one. Definitely not as quick as the 3rd edition, but still a lot of fun. Tuck in here. Woo. You won't run this one off the clock. Definitely the altitude and all the technology you can feel. I think there's also more vibrations through this bike than there was on the 3rd edition. But other than that, very much the same feel. I hope you've enjoyed this little review and the little ride on this V7 1st edition Moto Guzzi Racer, the comparison to the V7 3rd edition Racer. And please remember, give us a like, a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to help us build this channel.